Nekomaru's clock can't be changed. The other clocks in this building could be.
We headed for Great Tower before 7 a.m., I am certain.
But the alarm inside Nekomaru's chest was set for 7:30 a.m.
Nekomaru died because of that alarm, right?
His time of death and the time the body was discovered. One of those must be an illusion.
The killer probably did some tampering. They probably messed with the clock inside Nekomaru's chest.
Not that one.
That's gotta be it!
They can't mess with that one. The alarm that caused Nekomaru's death rang at 7:30 a.m. Discovered his body before 7. And he crushed one possibility at a time if I'm going to break this contradiction.
We headed for Great Tower.
The alarm tower. It can't be messed with.
I am certain.
But use that with the one at the end.
7:30 a.m.
Nekomaru died because of that alarm, right?
His time of death and one of those must be an illusion.
The killer probably did something. Probably messed with the clock inside Nekomaru's chest.
Okay, that didn't work. What? That's the only thing I can think of. The killer messed with the clock in Nekomaru's chest. Thanks to that, time of death got screwed up. Okay, not that one.
We headed for Great Tower.
Radio clock. That's what I need.
Before 7 a.m., I am certain.
But the alarm inside Nekomaru was set for 7:30 a.m.
Nekomaru died because of that alarm, right?
His time of death and the time. One of those must be an illusion.
The killer probably did something. They probably messed with the clock inside Nekomaru's
They can't. It's a radio
No,
clock.
that's wrong.
No, the clock inside his chest was a radio clock, so it would have been impossible to mess with.
So you're saying there's no way the killer could have tampered with the clock?
Maybe the clock Miss Sonia saw was the one that got tampered with.
The clock inside Grape House?
No, I checked all the clocks inside the Funhouse.
Oh, that's what I asked you to do. You didn't really listen to me and checked all the clocks.
And because of that, I can confidently declare that all the clocks had the same time displayed.
Unless somebody changed all the clocks.
If there's no possibility that the time was tampered with, then we must doubt that human's testimony.
Please believe me, we are not lying.
Then maybe it's a misunderstanding?
Oh, he is crushing so hard.
I never misunderstand. I'll crush you into dog food.
This time-related contradiction. I don't think I should doubt the testimonies. I should doubt the clock. There's no mistake that something was done, but what was it? Have to overlook something. Maybe we're misunderstanding something. Think. Focus and think. Should be able to find the answer to that mystery. Logic dive? Oh, it's the hangman's... No, it is a logic dive. Let's fucking go. Yumpin' for freedom. Question 1. What did Hajime and the others misunderstand? No, I couldn't think about it fast enough. I almost jumped over. The time in the building. That's what we misunderstood. Maybe it's possible to just like jump over one of the other tracks if you just pick the wrong one. And you know you picked the wrong one. I just couldn't read it fast enough. This is new. I could actually jump the gaps. Question 2. Which clock was tampered with? The building's clocks. Alright, where are we going? Big yumps, big yumps. Logic dive is fun. Which house had the wrong time? Both houses had the wrong time. Somebody was able to tamper with both clocks at the same time. There we go. Oh, keeps. My eyes are starting to close. That's all good, Bubs. Thanks for sticking around as long as you have. If you gotta sleep, you gotta sleep. And on to bed if you gotta.
It's all coming together.
Because I don't know how much time is left of this trial.
You said you checked all the clocks inside the building. Isn't that right, Fuyuhiko?
Yeah, none of the clocks had the wrong time.
But what if all those clocks have been messed with?
What? All the clocks?
So even if you checked all the clocks inside the building, there's no way you'd have noticed it. I see. So the killer messed with the time inside the whole
I
building.
want to watch your reaction in real time so bad. I'm trying to get there, Bubbles. I don't know how much time is left in the trial.
There's no way I would have noticed that.
This is truly fantastic!
Now's not the time to be pleased. More importantly, how much was the time off?
She's right. That's the main problem. You need to clarify how much time the time was off after the killer messed with the clocks. Definitely the next mystery. I'm gonna reach the truth in one go. Okay, make your argument. Nah, take your time. I'm just being dramatic. Fair enough. Let's go with Akane's account. I think Akane was when he was talking about a random boom at some point.
If the time in the building was all messed up, then we can only rely on Nekomaru's radio clock.
The time of death was clearly 7:30 a.m.
The problem is, what time would 7:30 be? In our time.
Are there any clues that can be used to narrow that down?
I'm gonna remember what time Akane said. Rumbling noise at around 5:30 a.m. So it was 2 hours off.
If only I heard the sound when you fell. It would have been a great clue.
Or his scream.
He's not the type to let out a scream.
If only Nekomaru's alarm was loud enough.
Okay, that's not where I go for that one. I heard the sound of an alarm, but it came from the clock in the lounge. I don't know what Nekomaru's alarm sounds like. Damn. Alright.
If the time in the building was all messed up, then we can only rely on Nekomaru's.
The time of death was clearly 7:30 a.m.
The problem is, what time in our time?
Are there any clues that can be? If only I heard the sound when you fell.
There we go. That's what I needed it for. VODs exists for a reason. Exactly.
That's right. We should have heard the sound he made when he fell. Wasn't it that rumbling noise?
Rumbling? I thought it was just an earthquake, so I went back to sleep. Was that the sound from when Nekomaru fell?
Well, a huge body fell from the 4th floor to the 1st, and the pillar fell with it. It's obvious we'd hear the impact sound.
We heard that noise too.
It was when we were gathered at the Strawberry House Lounge. What is it, Sonia?
Oh, well. That sound everyone heard? I did not hear it at all.
Huh?
Yeah, because she was in...
Probably didn't hear it because you were sleeping.
No, everybody
I
else
did not
heard it.
sleep at all. I was awake the whole night with hunger pangs.
There's nothing to worry about. What's important is that rumbling noise anyway.
If we use that rumbling sound as a reference, we might be able to figure out how much our time was off.
I heard that sound probably around 5:30 in the morning. Huh? You can tell? I instantly woke up and left my room. And that's when I saw the clock in the lounge. Excellent work, Akane!
That rumbling sound we heard was at 5:30 a.m. Like the answer to how much our time was off is literally right in front of us. 2 hours off.
Nekomaru's alarm went off at 7:30, and if we heard the sound of his impact at 5:30, that means our time was off by 2 hours.
2 hours? That much?
We were starving pretty badly. There's no way we would have noticed.
Plus, the Funhouse has no windows. And there weren't any Monokuma announcements either.
However, for what reason did the killer alter our perception of time?
The reason is obvious, so they can lure out just Nekomaru.
Lure out only Nekomaru?
If you messed with the clocks and used a specific thing, you definitely get Nekomaru to the tower alone, right? From there, the killer's plan was a splendid success. That's all it means.
Besides messing with the time, they could also use a specific thing. They were trying to lure only Nekomaru, and that specific thing is Tai Chi.
made use of the Monokuma Tai Chi activity in the morning.
How did they use it?
We were required to go to Great Tower every morning at 7 a.m. for that activity, right? But if they mess with all the clocks inside the building, what would that do to us?
You wouldn't know.
Attend on time, but that wouldn't affect Nekomaru. His radio clock had the exact time. That's right. In doing so, the killer was able to lure him to the tower by himself at the precise time.
And when I witnessed Nekomaru early in the morning,
That was like 7 o'clock.
If I recall, you witnessed Nekomaru around 5 a.m. And if that time was also 2 hours off, it should have been 7 a.m. Yeah, that's pretty much it. At that time, he was heading over to Monokuma Tai Chi, right on schedule. I see. Now that I think about it, I realize what Monokuma meant when he said those words.
Too early. He didn't even ask me yet.
Jeez, how outrageous! I was expecting everyone to ditch Monokuma Tai Chi. But it turned out like this after all, so I guess it can't be helped.
When you said everyone, you were including us, right? We thought we came to the tower on time, but in truth, it was way past the meeting time.
Aw, jeez. That's, well, how should I put it? What was it? You know, tripping over a foot or something like that.
Getting caught with your foot in your mouth?
Are you talking about tripping over someone else's fault?
Excuse me?
Wrong! Too bad! Liar! I'm right! That's not it! It's incorrect! That's definitely the correct answer. You always get so stubborn like this.
He refuses to be wrong.
Let's just ignore the peanut gallery. Now that we've found out how the killer lured Nekomaru,
Never heard
the
that
number
phrase
of
before.
suspects has drastically decreased.
Nah, I never heard it either. Huh?
Hey, why would that decrease the number of suspects? Don't be a friggin' liar.
You'll know I'm not lying when you listen to what Fuyuhiko's going to say next.
huh? What the hell do you mean?
You witnessed Nekomaru going toward the tower. Did something else happen after that?
Are you talking about that alarm?
Alarm?
A little while after I witnessed Nekomaru, the clock in the Strawberry House lounge started going off. Plus, it was just before that rumbling sound occurred. That's it. So that's what it is. If Nekomaru died when the rumble happened, then whoever doesn't have an alibi at the time is the prime suspect.
Really? Was there anyone who didn't have an alibi at that time?
I remember now.
He's becoming self-aware.
The sound was so loud I couldn't help bolting from my room. There was one guy who never left the lounge. We were both on the same floor. It's pretty weird that bastard never came out of his guest room.
Which means that person does not have an alibi for when Nekomaru fell? Who is it? Who's the bastard?
Well, it's Nagito. So he doesn't have an alibi for that time, right? It's Nagito.
You're the only one!
Weirdly enough, that is his alibi.
The one who wasn't there. It's you, right, Nagito?
That's right. Nagito wasn't there. It was just me, Gundam, and Fuyuhiko.
You didn't come out, even though the alarm was going off like crazy. You weren't in your room, were you?
If that's the case, where were you?
Please, say something.
He was asleep in his room, according to his own testimony.
You don't hurry up and answer. I'm gonna suicide dive you.
He's gonna punch herself across the stand.
If I may be frank, even if I wanted to go to the lounge, I couldn't. You couldn't? What do you mean?
It's merely the foolish talk of the weak.
Not only did I not hear the alarm, I never even heard that rumbling sound.
He couldn't?
You're definitely fucking lying.
However, that is also true for me. It is obvious that I did not hear the alarm in Strawberry House. But I did not hear the rumbling sound either. Is that not strange? I mean, everyone else heard it.
Did Shaki hear it?
To be honest, it's not just them. was for me too.
Yep, and that's everybody with a luxury room. It's fucking Gundam.
I was in a pretty deep sleep, so I thought that's why I couldn't hear it, but it wasn't that. I probably couldn't hear it at all.
Couldn't hear it? What does that mean? You still don't know. Think about what the three of us who didn't hear a sound have in common, and I'm sure you'll figure it out.
The only people who didn't hear the rumbling noise were Nagito, Sonya, and Shaki. The secret is what these three have in common. Could this also be the secret that points to the killer? Okay, this is gonna be a Hangman's Gambit. Yeah. Deluxe room. That's it. You give me an X. Need an O. Need an M. There we go, deluxe rooms. Hangman time.
Nagito, Sonya, and Chiaki, the three of you were staying in deluxe rooms, right? If I recall, the deluxe rooms are...
The guest rooms are divided up by quality grade. The deluxe room is soundproof and has excellent air insulation. The standard room may have so-so insulation, but still pretty decent. And the crummy room has severe airflow and draft problems.
The reason we could not hear the rumbling noise.
That's right. It was because the deluxe rooms have superior sound insulation. You actually noticed that. Nice catch. Are you using your ultimate reserve course student talent?
That's low, but I can't really say anything about it.
Now then, you guys must understand by now, right? The true identity of Nekomaru's killer.
Hold on a sec. Why does that lead to who the killer is?
It's Gundam.
Why? Well, that fact just now is a very important clue, and a decisive factor in identifying the killer.
Decisive factor?
Somehow I feel like I understand what Nagito means. The killer among us. The killer who murdered Nekomaru. Gundam.
You're the only one!
I caught this early on too, because I noticed Gundam should have been in a deluxe room.
When the alarm rang at the Strawberry House Lounge, you rushed over there too, right?
What's wrong with that? If the bell of catastrophe rings throughout the night, it is the universe's providence to stop it.
Why were you able to hear it?
Hear what?
I mean, you were also staying in a deluxe room, right? Nagito was staying in a deluxe room in the same house on the same floor, and he couldn't even hear it. So why were you able to hear that alarm?
Now that you mention it,
Gundam?
There's only one possibility. You weren't in your room at the time. That's why, even though you were staying in a deluxe room, you still went to the lounge. Am I right?
Gundam, you have some sort of explanation, right?
Gundam probably couldn't return to his room because of Fuyuhiko. Me?
Hey, he was in the lounge.
After you saw Nekomaru heading to the tower, you stayed at the lounge for a while. Am I correct? Until the moment that alarm started ringing, right? If you were in the lounge for that long, the killer who had left earlier obviously wouldn't be able to go back.
Even though Nekomaru's murder was a death trap that utilized the alarm in his chest, the killer still needed to prepare the murder in advance.
Neat.
like putting Nekomaru in sleep mode and tying him up with the wire.
In order to do that, the killer needed to be waiting for Nekomaru at the tower. Which means when Fuyuhiko witnessed Nekomaru, the killer was already at the tower.
He was there. He was waiting, prepared.
And once they tried to go back, they couldn't because Fuyuhiko was at the lounge.
In their original plan, the killer should have returned to their room before the alarm in the lounge went off. And they were supposed to stay in their room. They weren't planning to come out and go to the lounge.
Which means they wouldn't have heard the alarm or the rumbling sound, thus proving they were in the room.
But they couldn't do that, so they had to improvise and pretend really fucking quickly.
Just like us.
The best case scenario would have been if those two in the lounge had gone and checked the deluxe rooms. After all, if they personally saw the killer sleeping in their room, it gives the killer a stronger alibi. Unfortunately, they failed to secure that alibi.
He knows he's caught.
I was in the lounge.
So the killer couldn't go back to their room, and ended up hearing the lounge's alarm.
Hey, what are you doing?
This raucous. It's louder than the supreme ruler of the netherworld bellowing for a sacrifice.
Don't go making all that noise so suddenly.
But why'd you come out? You should have hid till the excitement died down. If Gundam tried to hide, and if those two went to his room to check on him, he would have been found out. That would have been the worst possible outcome. That's why he couldn't just stay hidden.
If those two had just checked the deluxe rooms as planned, that would have been ideal, but how ironic. The moment Fuyuhiko set foot in the lounge, your plan was doomed.
I mean, here's the thing. He could have at least said something like, oh, I went to the bathroom.
Gundam? Please, can you at least say something?
Answer me this, including myself and my 4 dark devas of destruction. How many ears do we possess?
Oh, he's going with this angle.
The answer is 10. That's right, I possess 10 ears. That means I have 5 times the hearing of a normal human. The soundproof system here may as well not exist.
Is that your argument?
Hamsters are so excited.
Bastard. Do you understand the situation you're in right now?
Do not panic. The truth.
Oh, he's losing it.
At the time, I left my room to go to the bathroom. By coincidence, I heard the alarm. That's right. That's all it was. The world is always so simple.
Is it always so
Are you
simple?
saying it was just a coincidence? Isn't that timing a little too perfect?
And yet, I'm being suspected by all of you. It seems it was actually horrible timing on my part.
I see. You're still holding out. Well, you don't have to admit it. We're going to decide who the killer is with the majority vote anyway. So, why don't we just go ahead and start voting? It's obvious that Gundam is the killer.
I mean, yeah.
Hold on a sec. You know, Hajime, this class trial, this killing, it's merely the opening act, you know.
Oh?
Hey! What do you mean the class trial is just the opening act?
I love him. I believe him.
Perhaps I should say it's just a farce. Just a boring farce. So boring, so stressful. I'm so painfully bored that I might develop stomach ulcers. Seriously. Let's just hurry up and finish this before I collapse from poor health.
I'm wondering if Nagito's thing is a... Nagito mentioned the book about a killer who was told from their perspective, so we never actually knew the MC was the killer.
Definitely happened to you, didn't it? At some point during the investigation, your behavior became even weirder.
It did.
What actually happened? Did you discover something?
Well, let's just leave that fun for later. And finish this opening act already.
You said opening act again!
Monokuma's not happy about this.
Please hold on. We have yet to hear Gundam's rebuttal.
But he's completely shut up. Perhaps he can't argue anymore.
Gundam!
I was simply at a loss for words after being dumbfounded by your pathetic assumption.
Alright, you gonna, fight back now?
In fact, I shall deny the very basis. Your assumption has been wrong since the beginning.
Since the beginning?
All right.
Based on your assumption, I hung Nekomaru from the 4th floor of the tower and made the floor descend to the 1st floor. From there, after returning to Strawberry House, I was present when the alarm at the lounge went off, correct? Although going to and fro is busy enough as it is, how would I be able to travel between both houses anyway?
Let's see. The contact elevator was broken.
As I recall, the killer tampered with the Grape House control panel, which shut down the elevator.
Oh, there you go. He has a reasoning now.
Plus, the stopped elevator should have been facing the Grape House side. If so, the human who used the elevator would have left it at Grape House. For these reasons, it's an indisputable fact that the killer destroyed the elevator at Grape House.
And what's wrong with that?
If the elevator was broken at Grape House, you wouldn't be able to return to Strawberry House.
However, I was already at Strawberry House. I was present when the alarm in the lounge started ringing, which means your assumption is clearly wrong.
Are you serious? And here I thought it's already been decided.
Have you learned your lesson, pitiful humans? You cannot overcome this contradiction.
That's wrong. When something is obviously wrong, that's when a contradiction is born. No such thing as a contradiction that can't be overcome. Also, I need to check something. I'm gonna go Fuhiga's account for now.
That elevator was the only means of travel between the two houses. As long as that elevator was broken, your assumption collapses.
Plus, the elevator was broken at Grape House.
If the killer cannot return to Strawberry House,
Since I was at Strawberry House at that time, there's no question that the following crime is impossible.
It would have been different if they had an accomplice.
or if there was a secret passageway.
How much longer do you plan to lecture me? Why don't we stop this already?
Contradiction when something is obviously wrong. There's no contradiction I can't shoot through. I'm gonna find out what that is. For the sake of everyone's hope, I'll shoot through the contradiction.
That elevator was the only means of travel between the two houses. As long as that
Hold up.
elevator
I think I know what I need to do now.
The elevator broken at Grape
I
House.
need
If the killer
Akane's
cannot return
thing.
to Strawberry,
Since I was at Strawberry, there's no question that the following crime is impossible.
It would have been different if they had an accomplice.
Or if there was a secret passageway.
There we go. Now I got this.
How much longer do you plan to lecture? Why don't we stop this already? That elevator was the only means of travel between the two houses.
There we go.
No, that's wrong.
Break!
No, there should have been another way to move between the two houses without the elevator.
Such a method does not exist.
Except it
Then
does.
why don't we ask the person who actually used that method?
Nagito, where are you? Okay, I want to check something real quick. You can't see it a lot of the time, but Hajime's tie has a symbol for the Future Foundation on it. But it's covered up most of the time, so you don't actually see it. I'm fairly sure that is the Future the Future Foundation's logo. It's just on his tie.
You're the only one.
Nagito, you should know. What are you talking about? Don't play dumb. You appeared so suddenly that one time because you used that method, right?
Nagito, why are you here? Because I showed up.
There's a secret passage connecting the first floor of Strawberry House to the third floor of Grape House. Isn't that right?
Jeez. Once again, I let the reserve course show off. But you're right. There's a door on the floor of the Octagon, which is on the first floor of Strawberry House. After I opened the door and went down, Surprise, surprise! I ended up in the Monokuma archive, which is on the 3rd floor of Grape House.
So you can go between the buildings.
Meaning the 3rd floor and the 4th floor are actually connected.
I'm still kicking. Bubs is still awake. Hell yes.
Plus, once you've cleared the final dead room once, you can pass through it as many times as you want.
If they used that secret passage, they could have gone between the two houses as much as they wanted.
But there's no proof that Gundam went through that room.
Infinity Unlimited Flame! However, what if the killer was unaware of the existence of the final dead room?
The fuck? Everyone knew about the final dead room.
No way they didn't know.
That is merely an illusion you have fabricated from your own suspicion. If you value your...
There's no way I can stop.
Did you say? Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Alright, let's go. Rebuttal Showdown. Stick with the wire for me.
If the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes.
What the?
Provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say. Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
His argument is exhausting. Just listening to it makes me tired. He just skillfully cut back into his words so it doesn't outpace me.
If the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes. Provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say. Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities? Even if... Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
I can't back down!
Dual crosswords. Oh, that's that one. Fuck. More and I can draw something out next
Even
time.
if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes. Provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say. Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities? Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes. Provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say. Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
I can't back down!
Success. Got it. Advance.
I already proved the secret passage exists. The secret passage was at the Octagon.
Know the limits of your own reasoning. You say the killer went to the Octagon. Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of blind confusion, at least pray to the key which dwells in the light.
Probably means try providing the evidence that the killer went to the Octagon, right? That's the case, I should have it too. The key which dwells in the light that will break through the darkness.
Know the limits of your own reasoning. You say the killer went to the Octagon. Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of blind confusion.
Cut.
Allow me to cut through those words!
Break.
The wire used to string up Nekomaru's body, the hammer that looked like the weapon, and the chain on the door in the tower. Those are all the items that weren't in Funhouse. Where did the killer obtain them?
The only place I can think of is the Octagon. There were various weapons and tools there. I'm pretty sure I saw stuff like wires, hammers, and chains too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Since those items were used in the crime, there's no doubt that the killer went to the Octagon.
If that's the case, they obviously know about the secret passage too, right?
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Seems this is the end. Normally we'd end up listening to Hajime lecture us with a very long summary of the case. But there's no reason to waste any more time on this opening act. So I'm going to end this right now.
Oh.
Hey, what do you... First of all, by messing with all the clocks in the building, Gundam tried to lure only Nekomaru. The elevator was probably broken by that point. Thanks to that, Nekomaru wasn't able to go to Grape Tower, which was supposed to be the meetup point. So he tried going over to Strawberry Tower, just like we did when we found out the elevator was broken. Well, it's obvious he'd attempt that. At that time, we didn't know the two towers were the exact same place. Also, the button in Strawberry Hall wasn't broken, so he was easily able to enter Strawberry Tower. But surprise! Gundam was waiting for Nekomaru's arrival.
Hold on. If Nekomaru didn't go to Strawberry Tower, what would the killer have done then?
Their plan was a balancing act of uncertainties. But even if they failed, they probably wouldn't have minded.
What?
They can just greet everyone the next morning as if nothing happened, and come up with a different plan.
And without such a risky plan, they wouldn't have been able to lure him at all.
I'm going to continue summarizing the case, okay? Through this, Gundam successfully lured Nekomaru to Strawberry Tower. There's no way he could fight head-on with the robotic Nekomaru. So by pressing the goodnight button, he rendered Nekomaru powerless without fighting him.
Hold on! You... What did you just say? That I didn't battle?
What's wrong with that?
Don't mess with me! Don't mess with me! I cannot ignore those words!
Oh?
Why are you angry all of a sudden?
You fools do not understand! You don't understand at all! Ha! You make me laugh! After all this time, you still don't understand anything at all!
I don't understand anything. What does that mean?
What is this? What is this now?
Years. I cannot finish just yet. Maybe I'm just a human destined for hell. However, I cannot finish just yet. I cannot finish!
What
do
do
you-
you intend to do?
It's obvious. I'm going to destroy your illusory assumptions.
Are you saying you still have more? You still have room to argue?
Your words. You said I pressed Nekomaru's goodnight button. However, that button was on the back of Nekomaru's neck. To press it, I'd have to get behind him.
It's not easy to get the drop on Coach Nekomaru.
Mm.
It's even more difficult if it's a one-on-one situation.
Just as I thought. Truly frail. Succumbing so easily to this... If you want to set me up as the killer, at least surpass your own human limitations.
I'm
That's
wondering.
wrong, Gundam. You're the one who's wrong.
Such a wonderful line. However, I cannot say that I'm satisfied. Listen well. I shall teach you 2 tips for making someone admit their defeat. First, you must crush them with your own overwhelming power. And as for the other, you must provide a reason that will persuade that human. You have not fulfilled either of those yet.
I'm just trying to think here, like, I'm wondering if Nagito did this, you know? I guess you really don't want to admit it. Then, just as you requested, find an argument that'll leave you no choice but to be persuaded. Panic talk action. Fuck. What's this?
I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesied! I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesied! Show me the cadaver! I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither!
Gotta get this.
Crushed as David prophesied! I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! Wither! Crushed as David prophesied! For the Tanaka Empire! It's Nekomaru's back.
The poor Dark Davis.
So this is the end.
That's all you would need.
Even if you didn't get behind Nekomaru, you should have been able to press the button on the back of his neck. As long as you have the power of the hamsters you keep with you.
Oh? Are you seriously saying he used his hamsters to press the button on the back of Nekomaru's neck?
Yeah, that's all you would
Of
need.
course, that'd be impossible for a normal hamster, but it would have been possible for Gundam. In fact, we saw that with our very own eyes, right?
Emissary of evil, in accordance with our ancient contract, the time has come to lend me your aid. Pierce through, Supernova Silver Fox Sandy. Click. And press the button. Truly, this is the Skyline Lamentation art of the Demon Mouse. Ha ha ha! Soon the door of destiny shall open.
Now that you mention it, after Ibuki was killed in the music venue, one of Gundam's hamsters retrieved the piece of wallpaper from the baton lighting, right?
They're very well trained hamsters.
Hey, with your friends and their exceptionally smart brains, it must have been possible to secretly get one of them behind Nekomaru and press the button on the back of his neck.
How about it, Gundam?
Not just myself, but you actually brought up how splendid my subordinates are. I have no recourse but to admit it.
Admit it? Did you say you admit it?
It appears I've obtained a one-way ticket to hell. Fine, then you must trample me underfoot and advance. Victory can only be built upon a foundation of corpses. You cannot find peace without sacrifice anywhere. Now, trample this life. Trample it as though it were mere trash on the side of the road.
What the fuck?
Pull the curtain strings of this worthless performance with your own two hands.
Something's... Opposing argument. Begin. Stock 1. Fuyuhiko can't sleep. Fuyuhiko can't sleep, so who was in the lounge since early in the morning? What time did Fuyuhiko see Nekomaru? That's not an option. Nekomaru's weakness is... The killer destroyed this after leaving the tower. Take off the tower. Who gathered at the lounge? All these people did. Stock 2. Why did Nekomaru fall? Hung from the loop of the doorknob. Okay, not that one. Get over more. I heard the rumbling noise. That was when I woke up. Time did Fuyuhiko see Nekomaru? Hung the loop from the doorknob. That was when he actually saw him. At the alarm clock's lounge. Alright. That clock was put there at that time. Nekomaru's weakness. The doorknob came off, Nekomaru fell. Last stock. Fake one left of the tower, it was the huge hammer. Make it think somebody just beat him. Nekomaru's weakness, the hamster pressed it.
Here's everything that happened in this case. Let's first go over the many tricks the killer prepared before they committed the crime. First, they destroyed the contact elevator.
They did indeed.
This separated Nagito and the others in Strawberry House from our group in Grape House. Next, they lured Nekomaru out by himself by turning back all the clocks in the Funhouse by 2 hours. Additionally, in order to secure an alibi, the killer went to the Strawberry House lounge and set the wall clock's alarm to 5:30 a.m. After finishing their preparations, the killer went to Strawberry Tower with the necessary tools in hand. They obtained these tools from the octagon, which you can enter once you clear the final deck.
Swinging
This
in.
means the killer discovered the secret of the Funhouse faster than anybody else. That secret being, Strawberry House and Grape House are actually the same building. On the morning of the incident, Nekomaru woke up and headed over to Great Tower for a specific reason.
Tai Chi time.
There, Fuyuhiko, who was at the lounge by coincidence, witnessed Nekomaru. According to Fuyuhiko's testimony, that was around 5 a.m., but by that point, the killer had already messed with our perception of time.
Yeah, time's subjective anyways.
In actuality, Fuyuhiko witnessed Nekomaru at 7 a.m. That's also the same time Monokuma Tai Chi begins. Nekomaru went to Grape Tower to participate in that. However, because the contact elevator was broken, Nekomaru was unable to go to Grape Tower. So he decided to try going to Strawberry Tower. But the killer was waiting for him there.
And the 4 dark devas of destruction.
With the power of hamsters, they were able to press the good night button on the back of Nekomaru's neck. This forced him to enter sleep mode, rendering him immobile. From there, the killer began preparing to use the ultimate weapon. First, they set the alarm in Nekomaru's chest to 7:30 a.m. so he'd wake up. Then they tied him up with a metal wire, tied the tip of the wire into a loop, and hung it on the doorknob. After leaving Strawberry Tower, the killer then destroyed the door button to Strawberry Hall. They did this to keep us from entering Strawberry Tower, and to keep us from discovering the secret of the building's structure that they used to kill Nekomaru.
But we did figure it out.
Then, they used the secret octagon passageway to travel to Grape House. After arriving at Grape Hall, they pressed the button to open the door to the tower. When that happened, the elevator-like floor of the tower began descending, and Nekomaru's body was still inside, dangling upside down in midair from the wire. The killer entered Grape Tower to see if their setup was successful.
It was.
And placed a hammer on the floor to look like the weapon, then wrapped a chain around the back door. This was done to make us falsely believe we couldn't enter the tower from Strawberry Hall. With this, the killer finished their setup and tried to go back to their room using the secret passage, so they could craft their alibi when Nekomaru died from the fall. But something unexpected happened. Fuyuhiko, who saw Nekomaru earlier, was still at the lounge.
Oh yeah.
As a result, the killer couldn't return to their room, and with no options available, time ran out. The lounge's wall clock alarm started ringing at 5:30. Well, actually 7:30. To avoid a worst-case scenario, the killer was forced to appear in front of Fuyuhiko with the others. When the wall clock's alarm rang, that was also the same time Nekomaru was waking up.
He rises, he shakes, he
He woke up
falls.
while he was still hanging upside down, so he couldn't help but sway his body powerfully. Originally, the loop of wire was only supposed to slip off the doorknob, but because there was a heavier load than expected, the doorknob ended up breaking.
It's probably more accurate.
Nekomaru fell from the 4th floor all the way to the 1st floor.
It'd probably be more accurate to say because the doorknob is already damaged.
He crashed into the pillar, which decapitated him on impact, and died. The sound of Nekomaru's impact echoed throughout the funhouse. However, by this point, the killer's plan was about to fail, thanks to the broken doorknob and Fuyuhiko. Meaning, the killer is someone who wouldn't have heard the alarm if they were in the deluxe room. They also wouldn't have been able to return to their guest room, because Fuyuhiko was at the lounge. That someone is Gundam Tanaka. I can't think of anyone else but you.
He's posing. He's posed up.
That was splendid. For a mere human, you did quite well.
Stop. Stop it already.
Akane's tired of this.
Stop using weird words to avoid the truth. Or I'll friggin' kill you myself! I cannot believe it. I just cannot believe you killed Nekomaru? I cannot believe something like that.
You don't wish to forgive me? Do you feel regret? Then finish it! Cast your impure votes for Gundam Tanaka! My beloved, deadly foes, let the voting time begin!
I want to figure out what his reasoning was for this. B. I'll take a B. Alright.
This result isn't all that exciting.
Why?
Now then, please pull the lever in front of you and cast your vote. Who will be chosen as the Blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one?
Let's see.
Please pull the lever!
Oh?
Crap! I bit my tongue at the most important part!
You have a tongue? Who is found guilty? Gundam. Class trial. All rise.
It'd be bad if I bit my tongue again, so I'll speak slowly. Judging from the results, you guys were correct once again. Getting 4 in a row without any mistakes is a splendid achievement. That's right. The one who killed the robotic Nekomaru in the amazing Funhouse was Gundam Tanaka. Yay! I said all that without biting my tongue.
Now we decided who the killer is. Let's do the execution already and get this over with. Hold on. It's true, the class trial is finished, but that doesn't mean the incident is over. We can't finish yet until we hear it from Gundam. No matter what he says, it won't change a thing. Well, I have no right to stop you either, so do whatever you like. Why do you want to talk to one who has lost? The loser merely leaves. It would just be unnecessary for me to say something. Is what I would like to say, but for honor's sake I shall correct one thing. Correct? You guys said I made Nekomaru powerless without fighting him. That, however, is a great mistake. Huh? Nekomaru did fight. That is no mistake. And because he fought, he lost and died.
Damn it!
Lost and died?
This, too, must be the will of causality.
If he was just trying to cling to life, there are many ways he could have done so. However, he did not allow that.
You.
What do you mean? Explain.
Fine then. Then I shall reveal it all.
Let's make history.
Within the final dead room, I discovered the secret of the Funhouse. I devised a killing plan utilizing that secret. By tampering with all the clocks in the building, I succeeded in luring Nekomaru to the tower. And this is what happened. Nekomaru and I were alone in the tower, standing face to face with one another. I should say I expected as much from Nekomaru. He sensed my subtle killing intent and instantly understood the situation. And we had ourselves a stare down. In that situation, if he wanted to run away, it would have been easy for him to do so. He could have run away, or even called for help. But he did not turn his back to me. Instead, he chose a fight that risked life and death.
That is.
A fight that risked life and death?
Let me tell you.
He was serious, too. He gave it his all to try to kill me.
Huh?
If I had died instead, the mystery surrounding the case would have been even more complicated. You would never know why I, the victim, went to the tower by myself.
I can see it.
Nobody would know that the victim, me, was actually the one who planned the whole thing.
Could it be?
Nekomaru really did that?
Sensing even my subtle killing intent, as expected of you, Nekomaru.
The scorching, stinging, tense atmosphere. I've been a team manager for so long, I've nearly forgotten this. This is great! What a comforting atmosphere!
He likes this stuff?
That's a great one.
And what is your reason? Do you intend to resolve this situation by killing me?
I am the Warlock, Gundam Tanaka. Heroes, Lords of Darkness, and even the gods themselves flee from me. I need not cling to any trivial reason. I'm simply going to kill you because your very existence is an annoyance.
And it's not because you're hungry.
You'll drench your soul with evil until the bitter end, huh? Splendid! In response to your spirit, I shall kill you with all of my might. I won't go easy on you. Don't even think about holding back.
He wants this.
Breath on cowardly tactics. Give me everything you got.
Nekomaru Nidai, your blood will drench the foundation of my empire!
That is.
Why? Why did you fight? We are all friends. Why couldn't you stop this? Even if both sides agreed, it was still wrong.
I will not argue. I have no intention of forcing my values upon you. However, I must say this. What's the point of living if you're just waiting until you finally die? There's nothing courageous about that. That is abandonment, a mere feeling of resignation.
Wait, are you guys just wait until we starve to death? I'd rather have that happen to us. Have our friends kill each other. Huh? Do you mean that you'd rather die?
Fall, my tears.
Ever since we were locked inside that building, everyone had been dominated by that feeling of abandonment. However, nothing is born from resignation. It is simply a reason to give up.
If you flinch, you will die!
Giving up on life? That's just an insult to life itself.
Let me ask.
Have you fools heard of the term dog-eat-dog?
Cannibalism?
In zoology, cannibalism is a commonly observed phenomenon. Many creatures at some point in their lifespan engage in cannibalism.
Listen well.
That is what it means to live. If you say killing for the sake of living is evil, then what would you call giving up on life itself?
I shall engulf this world.
If a world would consider that justice, then I will fight that world with every last fiber of my being. Giving up on life and choosing death is nothing but a blasphemy towards life. It is a violation of the natural order. It is the arrogance of humanity.
You.
Are you saying all that to try to justify what you did? But it sounds like Nekomaru felt the same too. That's why they fought, right?
Damn it.
Ah.
Fine.
That man had the courage to die when he needed to die. That is why he challenged me to our battle. Regardless, as I've already said, I do not intend to force my values upon you fools. I have betrayed you all. That is the absolute truth.
Fall, my tears.
But, even so, don't you think it's a better alternative to slowly starving to death here?
Oh,
That belief is why you committed your crime.
you...
Hey, what about the final dead room? Did you do the Russian roulette too?
Let's make history.
Unlike Nagito, I only did it once, but compared to my battle with Nekomaru, that was mere child's play.
Well,
You know, after listening to you talk for a while, I'm starting to think that, well, it's also because you unexpectedly admitted your crime without much resistance. Gundam, don't tell me you didn't sacrifice yourself for our sake, did you?
I can't believe you would ask such a foolish question.
My name is Gundam Tanaka.
Who do you think I am? I am Gundam Tanaka, history's greatest monster. My cursed existence is feared by all mankind. There's no way I'd sacrifice myself for the sake of you fools. Oh no, he's full tsundere.
Fade like dust in the wind.
Not in a million, not in a billion, not in 10,000 billion years! In the name of pandemonium, it is impossible! Is that it? Then, I'll just leave it at that. Now then, let us be rid of this foolish talk. It's about time the fun started. Monokuma, let us begin!
Yay! Got it! I have prepared a special punishment for the ultimate breeder, Gundam Tanaka. This is just too much. Please, Monokuma, please help Gundam. Miss Sonia. Please, I beg of you.
How pitiful.
Sonia. An act as unrefined as stopping a man from going to his death does not befit a noble such as yourself.
Gundam. It's fine to start for reals, right?
Fine.
Yes, I do not mind. However,
What is it, my four dark devas of destruction?
oh,
Are you worried about me? Oh, my
Oh,
four
no.
dark devas of destruction. That is not like you at all.
oh no.
However, there is no need to fear. In this world, I am only a temporary visitor.
Oh, he's saying goodbye to his hamsters.
I was simply visiting for a moment, and now that my duty is complete, I must return to the darkness.
What's gonna happen to the hamsters? I now need to know.
That is why, until the very end, pride, conceit, courage, insolence, fearful of nothing, daunted by nothing. Let us laugh uproariously!
He may be a little mad, but he's got the spirit.
That is Gundam Tanaka! I shall stick with my evil until the very end! Open sesame pandemonium! I shall fill hell with true hell!
Dude is ready for this.
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
You know what? At least he's matching Monokuma's freak on this. Game over. Gundam has been found guilty. Time for the punishment.
What the What is that?
Gundam Tanaka Stampede. Oh, the hamsters. He put them down. This is actually gonna do something? What the fuck? No, the hamsters. What the fuck? Gundam! No! No! What the? I mean, props to him. He stared down a stampede with nothing but a stick and a fucking safety circle. My god. Who's gonna take care of the hamsters? Even after Gundam is gone, the spirit of his parting words still lingered deep in our chests. Don't give up on life. Did I misunderstand what he meant? Then, what's the right thing to do? I don't know. No matter how much I think about it, I don't know if I'll ever be able to answer that. Damn it! I'm so pissed off. I need to throw something.
Damn it!
Y'all spent so much time worrying about each other, and thanks to that, things ended up like this. You're all full of shit. Every last one of you. But the biggest piece of shit is me. Damn it. Why am I so weak?
Oh.
It's such a downer, clearly. But still, even though we feel this way, we still gotta do our very best.
You are right.
This time around, we must move forward. We must continue to live and believe in our friends. If not,
You are right.
Gundam will most likely crawl his way out of hell. I presume he will be very cross with us. You're right. You're right. We shouldn't just stand here. I mean, it's not like this is over. We still have to do it. We still have to finish this. For the sake of our friends who have died, we need to finish this once and for all. So, don't just stand there. Stand up and walk. Move forward. Live. If you don't, everyone who fought and died will have died in vain. We can't allow that.
So, how long are you guys gonna stand around chattering? The class trial is over, so it's okay for you to hurry back over to Jabberwock Island. However, the killing school trip will proceed as usual, so make sure you know that. Hold on. How much longer are you gonna keep doing this?
Seriously, how long is it going to keep doing this? How long is this going to continue?
Now then.
Alright, I've been feeling down for so long, I finally feel refreshed. Let's hurry back and get some food. Hold on a sec. The mood shift is too damn fast.
It's not like that.
Well, you know, it's like Gundam and Nekomaru said. That's what it means to live, right? She's certainly something else. But seriously, I'm starving.
Hey.
Then, let's go back for now and eat. And then, after we're full, let's sleep as much as we want.
Right?
And then, let's do our best again. Yeah, you're right. With this, the class trial has come to an end. And once again, we return to Jabberwock Island. The size of our group has definitely diminished. But despite that, and if it was just the rest of us, we did our best to stay upbeat and have fun together. Of course, our optimism was only superficial, but at that moment we were able to forget about the dark despair looming before us. However, the only thing I was worried about was him. He wasn't there. He suddenly disappeared from our sight. Yep, I'm definitely lucky. Never expected to obtain so many valuable things from a simple game of Russian roulette. Thanks to that, I was able to learn the identity of our true enemy. And before everyone else, too. It's just too funny. I mean, no one could tell that I was lying. There's no way the file had just Hajime's information.
Well,
I guess they were too busy with other matters, or maybe they've reached their limit. Regardless, I was saved. Things would get complicated if they found out. Anyway, I can't forgive this.
damn it.
This should never be forgiven. There's no way I can let this run loose. I'll be the one who stops this once and for all. Even if it costs me my life.
It's obvious.
For the sake of hope, I cannot ignore this.
All right, Monokuma has arrived. Who summoned me?
Now then,
Thanks for coming.
Why, it's the lonely little Nagito. Are you all alone tonight, too? So, what's up? Your face looks scary.
I see. So you can tell.
Ah, perhaps you found out who the traitor is.
You know me well. Is what I like to say, but unfortunately I haven't learned that yet.
I see. So even you don't know, huh? Well, looks like the final showdown's gonna take a little more time. So, why'd you summon me anyway? Are you finally gonna confess your love?
hey,
I summon you because there's something I really need to ask you. It's about the special prize from the final dead room.
Oh yeah? What about it?
There is information about 16 people in the file I received. But isn't that weird?
What's weird?
you don't even know?
Well, there's a traitor from the Future Foundation hiding among us, right? Including that person, total number of students would be 16, right?
Isn't that right?
But this file contains documents that were created at Hope's Peak Academy, right?
That's right. Just reuse the stuff that the former headmaster spent a lot of time making.
If this file even contains information about the traitor, was that person also a former student of Hope's Peak Academy?
I wonder.
Hey,
Could it be? Is this your doing? You slipped false information into the file. Are you trying to keep us from learning the traitor's identity by obtaining this information?
What's wrong with that? If it's my job to heat things up, it's okay if I do something small like that, right?
well,
That's not my point.
right?
My point is, you already know who the traitor is.
What's wrong with that? Well, you're splendidly correct when you say I know who the traitor was all along. But even though I know who it is, why do you think I ignored it on purpose? It's just like Monami after losing her magic stick. The traitor's existence means absolutely nothing to me.
Their existence means nothing, huh?
Well, that's just how I feel. I'm sure you guys feel somewhat different. After all, that person is the evil Future Foundation lackey who's putting you guys through this awful stuff.
That's not entirely true. I didn't really come here to fight or anything like that. Instead, I came here to offer my cooperation, you know?
Cooperation?
Your purpose is to fill everyone on this island with despair, right? That's why you're intentionally letting the traitor do as they please, right?
Yep.
If that's the case, I might be able to cooperate somewhat too.
Right?
However, In exchange, I want to know who the traitor is.
I see. Interesting. Very interesting. Obviously, it's a big no-no. I mean, I want to make everyone in your group feel despair. That includes you, too.
Well, I knew you would say that.
Besides, this will be able to handle the sadness you inevitably betray me later on.
Just as I thought. You saw right through me.
You're right.
No matter what situation I find myself in, my core way of thinking will never change. In order to create absolute hope that shines brightly, stepladders such as myself and despair exist.
You're right. You're a true believer of hope, after all. I must say, that belief reminds me of that person for some reason.
Huh?
Reminds you? I don't know who you're talking about. But someone as worthless as me reminds you of some other person. They must be extremely unlucky.
But you're just as unlucky, right? I mean, the fact that you're even involved in something like this.
Am I? I actually think I'm very lucky.
Huh?
You don't know?
Wouldn't you say that coming across this much despair is a rather rare opportunity? I can't rely on anyone on this island. That's why I have to be the one who does it. If I can eliminate despair from this island, I won't be a stepladder anymore. I'll become true hope. I'll become an existence that could even be called ultimate hope.
The two of you are alike. You definitely remind me of him.
Hey, there's one more thing I want to ask you.
Hmm?
See?
Who are you waiting for on this island?
Huh?
Looks like I'm right again. You're definitely waiting for someone on this island. Is the person you're waiting for already on this island? Well, answer my question.
If that's the case, if that person is already on this island, wouldn't that be exciting?
The bomb just gets bigger and bigger every time. 5 days left. Chapter 4. End. Surviving students, 7. To be continued. Bred for destruction. The Hellhound earring.